friends, and welcome to Right Away After Party. I'm Nick.
And I'm Kath.
And Kath is in Colorado and feeling a little lightheaded maybe because the air's a little thinner up there.
A little thinner. Yeah, I might not do much talking today.
Well, today we're discussing fear, the different kinds of fear that we experience as writers, the different kinds of fear we experience as, venturing out there with query letters and publishing. And so we're going to just jump into it. Let's talk about the fear of the actual story itself. I remember when I began writing a long time ago, I was scared of just even developing a story. Was I able to do that? And that fear kind of became a little bit crippling. I remember. Did you ever experience that, Kath?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's like it becomes this thing where you actually have to get over it. And for me, it became apparent to me that I had to have a regiment. Like I needed to have a writing time because I just never was. I was avoiding. I was avoiding the story. I would think about it a lot. I would think about the story a lot, but actually the sitting down and drafting the story terrified me. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that was like that was just because my dream was being realized, or is this I had this fantasy of what it would be like and I was afraid that it wouldn't match up to the fantasy. I'm not sure why that fear existed in me. I never really thought about it. So I thought we could maybe dive into that today. What is that fear?
I think it's way more common. We usually think we are alone in the fear, but actually the more we talk, the more we realize we're not alone. It's kind of like a human thing. I'm not saying everybody has it because there's plenty of people who don't have it, but the people that do have it tend to keep it quiet because they think they're on an island. And it's the whole thing about it is something different. And so your brain is going, oh, wait a minute, you don't know how to do that. You can't be doing that because that's not your thing.
Yeah, I think that is true. And maybe a lot of the fear for myself came because I'm not traditionally trained in writing. I learned a lot of my writing through the grassroots of writing. So he's taking workshops, reading lots of stories, working with a writing mentor. So a lot of my writing journey began with, I guess, the lack of formal education, kind of always kind of stuck in the back of my head. I don't feel that way anymore. I feel very, very educated. But I think it was parts of that, because some of my friends were getting MFAs. Some of them were in college for writing, creative writing. A lot of them were English teachers and taking English as their major in college. And I had done none of that. So I think some of that was, it was comparing myself to others was really part of it.
Exactly. And I think if we love to write, 98% of us love to read because that's where our love for story comes.
Yeah.
And when we read people who are already published and are at a higher level of language or use of language or storytelling craft than we are, especially when we just started.
I think that's so true. Yeah, that's totally true. And I think that was part of the fear in the very beginning when I was a newbie, is I would read these amazing books and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I will never be able to write like that. And I not realizing at that juncture, how much time and effort and revision and reworking and how many hands had actually touched that manuscript. It wasn't always on the writer themselves. They had critique groups and they probably had, who knows if they had a book coach and editors and agents and all the gamut, and now that I'm sitting here so many years, from that moment, I realized how much pressure I had put on myself.
Yeah. So that word, write it down, pressure.
Yes.
We'll look at that in our next segment.
Yes. Stay tuned.
Absolutely. We'll be back with more about fear and pressure in writing your first manuscript.
Yes.
See you soon.